All right, one of my favourite panels talking about marketing, called the New Marketing Mix, and everything's sort of changed in marketing. And I'd like to invite four very distinguished and expert marketing people to the stage. I'd like to first invite Danielle Ayres, Studio Mitre, founder and director. One of my team, Sarah May, Fast Track Digital Marketing Specialist at Fast Track Digital, Ginny Post, GP Communications founder, and Lorian from the Hotel Marketing Lady. Welcome on stage, thank you. It's me and the ladies, I love this. All right. Okay, talk about marketing. And I've put these questions together because I know in the room we've got the international brands, we've got the small independents, and also the very small as well. So to everyone, in one sentence, what's broken in hotel marketing right now?
I think there's a lack of creativity, a lack of storytelling, and a lack of brand building in marketing right now.
Yep, okay. Sarah?
I think speaking of creativity, I was going to say that. But I think also perhaps over-attributing to last-click channels and not looking enough at your awareness channels and what's working there to get your branding and messaging in the market, and just looking at what's bringing in ROI that people have clicked on last.
I can talk to from a PR perspective. I think it's just so important that your marketing strategy has a PR strategy attached to that, and that you have an alignment between the two. All too often we see PR sitting out in its own little silo, and there are so many opportunities to leverage your marketing plan if we work together.
Lauren?
And from my side, I think what it's missing is alignment. Basically, marketing is working silos, revenue, sales as well, and operators as well. So I think it's aligning how we work all together with the same commercial goals. That's what's actually missing.
Yeah. And I'll probably throw mine in, is creativity. I mean, I always tell my team, we're addicted to phones. We see so many messages, something like, 500,000 messages a day, and creativity, I think, is what's lacking. Because to me, I tell my team, you have to start doing creative that's scroll stopping. So in other words, what can you create that will make someone stop scrolling? So I think creativity is certainly missing. Again, to the panel, what's changed most in marketing the last 24 months? I've been marketing a long time when I used to have newspapers. I used to always advertise on the right-hand side of the page when you turn it over, and do white on black ink because the newspaper was black on white. So what's changed in the last 24 months?
I think, as you said, Adrian, there is so much noise out there in the market. There's so much stimulation. Attention is so scarce, and that's what makes, I think, creativity and brand building so much more important, because you need to capture that attention.
Yeah. Sarah?
And I think adding on to that, because everything is so instant now, especially obviously with AI, ChatGPT, that kind of thing, you can get content instantly. I think we forget with marketing, you kind of want to take a bit of time to make sure you're seeing your results in the market, so you can go back and test, experiment, that kind of thing as well, because as we know, not everything is going to give you instant results, especially if you're spending time building up your brand and your messaging. That's not going to happen overnight. That's a very deliberate process that takes a lot of work. So I think sometimes, with everything being very quick, we don't give campaigns or exercises enough of a chance to show what they're actually worth to your brand.
Yep.
There's also been a lot of change over the last 24 months or so in the media landscape itself. So looking at the channels and the outlets, we've seen some disappear from our market, such as things like News Hub. But excitingly, we've also seen the introduction of new ways to get our messaging across through podcasts, for example. We've seen an explosion in podcasts and the popularity of those. So there has been a real change across the market, and more increasingly we are seeing the media come cap in their hand saying, actually, Ginny, has your client got any money to put alongside this editorial article? So there has been, unfortunately, a decline in advertising revenue, which also impacts the opportunities for us to generate that beautiful editorial coverage, which really dives deeper into the storytelling of hotels and your products.
And from my end, I think that, as we all know, technology has evolved a lot. However, I still think that a lot of hotels are doing a lot more marketing than ever without having a clear structure or understanding how actually that new technology can help achieve the commercial goals.
I mean, from my point of view, what's changed most, I mean, there's so many more channels out there. And, you know, when I start talking to people, it's like, well, what channel is working the most? And I think that people are not looking at their data. I mean, my dad used to say, what you can't measure, you can't control. So to me, it's really understanding what's working. And I think going back to basics. So going back on creative, Danelle, has the obsession with performance marketing weakened brands?
100%, and this is potentially the hill that I'm prepared to die on, and I think Sarah and I are going to be very aligned in our answers today. But the performance marketing isn't the problem, it's the short-term thinking that's the problem.
Yeah.
And if you're chasing short-term goals, if you're trying to fill your rooms to meet budget next month or meet your quarterly budgets, then you're not focusing on that longer-term brand building, and you're teaching your consumer to, or your customer to, you know, wait till you're on sale or to not value your product. And so if you're not continually building brand equity, then you're reliant on those short-term tactics. And in the market, you have, you know, two types of demand: current demand and future demand. And just to give an example of, so that you can understand that, I'm going to do a very short experiment. Put your hand up if you are in the process or thinking of purchasing a mobile phone in the next 2 weeks. 1, 2, 3 people, 4 people. Put your hand up if you are potentially going to buy a new mobile phone in the next 2 years. Okay, so current demand is usually 5 to 25% of the market. Future demand is usually 75 to 95% of the market. And marketing has 2 jobs. So one is to convert that current demand, and the second is to create that future demand. Now, if we're only targeting that short pool of people that are currently in the market looking to book a hotel, then you're going to see short-term sales spikes. But if you're focusing on that larger audience of the future demand, then you can build that sustained longer-term brand growth. And if you're doing that, then you're creating that demand, and then your short-term marketing can amplify that and convert it.
Yeah, because I mean, we just need to be out there, and marketing's not a short-term thing. You just need to keep burning that brand. And there's a lot of ways you can do it without sort of, you know, doing so. Again, Danelle, I mean, what creative mistake do you think is costing hotels demand before it even starts?
I think, you know, hotels are all becoming interchangeable. They all have the same imagery, the same promises, the same kind of sloppy AI copy. And if you're not standing out from your competitors, then you're competing on rate and you all start to look the same. You really need to, you know, you need to get creative in order to stand out from the market. And I think if we're advertising features-based marketing where you're talking about the rooms or the rates or great service or great location, then you're not standing out from anybody. And I think, you know, there's a great quote from Maya Angelou that says, people won't remember what you said, people won't remember what you did, but they'll remember how you made them feel. So if your marketing has that emotional appeal, and, you know, we're selling hotels, we're selling, you know, memories. People go to hotels for special occasions, for holidays, for weekends away. Like, we need to be targeting and tapping into that emotional feel and make them remember us rather than just talking about the mattresses or what the room offers.
And I think it's important about, because what you just said, that, you know, at the end of the day, a lot of hotels, when you do the marketing, they all look the same. There's no real key point of difference. I think being creative, I mean, we work with a lot of different clients, even new clients, and we look at their creative. It's like, this is not a cut through, because at Fast Track, it's not about Fast Track. We work with so many different brands, and it's like, that's not really cutting through. You need to redo your creative. There's also some clients that have been with us 7 years, and there's one brand at the moment that we work with in Australia where we're saying, you know, we actually do need to do a brand repositioning. How much has your brand, has your market changed in the last 7 years? Is your positioning, is your message still relevant in the market? Because there's all these new competitors there. So I think brand reposition is also very important as well. So, Sarah, we always get hotels saying, you know, we're trying to spend too much or too little. Are hotels overspending on paid media instead of fixing, positioning and messaging?
It's good. Sometimes. I do think quite a challenge we're facing with a lot of, particularly small hotels, is platforms like Meta Ads, Google Ads, Bing Ads. They've invested very heavily in appealing directly to the advertiser and bypassing marketing teams or marketing agencies. So what that kind of looks like is with the use of AI, they're making it, saying it's very easy, go in, set up your campaign, tick all these AI Advantage Plus options, just, put an image in, we'll make an image for you, we'll make the copy for you. What that actually does, it makes a scattergun approach to your audience, and it makes you spend a lot more money getting clicks with very little conversions. It's a very easy trap to fall into because as we're being bombarded with everything, I think it's very easy to think, it's go in, set up an ad, that's all I need to do. I think without a proper strategy and brand and positioning behind it, it's very much a waste of money, and in that case, I would say yes, there'd be overspending on paid media if you don't know specifically what your goals would be for that campaign, whether it's awareness, direct purchase, like relationship building, that kind of thing.
Where do you think hotel? Where are you seeing wasted digital spend right now?
Yeah. Probably Meta Ads is the biggest culprit in the sense that it's probably the easiest one to just jump on and run a few ads and see how you go. I do think Meta Ads is a great platform for building that awareness and trust with your audience. Probably not a last click platform. That would be more Google or search ads, but very much so. I think Meta Ads is probably the biggest platform with a wasted spend if you're going in blind and
it's quite easy to just set up and off you go.
Very much
people
so.
don't
Very
know how
easy.
to use it. Yeah, very easy. But again, at the end of the day, we're humans. You still need that human interaction. So, Ginny, talking about PR, and it's certainly changed. And I've got a little bit of piece on AI and PR. But is traditional PR still powerful, or has social replaced it?
Yeah, good question. So PR is absolutely so powerful still, and I think we can't, discount that given, the changes we've seen with social. It certainly has its own metrics and ROI, and we can measure that. But fundamentally, it's the bigger picture thinking. It's that storytelling. It's building credibility for your brand. And a traditional journalist reporting on a story is a great way to go about that, and having that land in traditional media. But we're also seeing that now on multiple platforms. So it's not only is it landing in print, it will go online. The journalist will share that on the platform's Facebook page, for example, and then we're seeing the journalists, pop that up on LinkedIn. So it's more powerful than ever still, and a really great cost-effective way to communicate your story and your key messages out into your target markets.
Should PR still be expected to prove its ROI to stakeholders? Should it?
Definitely, we have metrics around PR, and we can turn around an ROI on that, but also there's the anecdotal ROI that it's really difficult to measure, and unless you're putting in brand tracking, or where you're surveying your customers before and after a campaign, for example. But so often we are getting that anecdotal evidence that, I read this review in Escape on the weekend, and it was, people are booking after reading about your products in the media. That's, absolutely.
Talk to me about PR and AI. I mean, I'm going to do a little bit of a segment, but it's pretty powerful, isn't it now? PR and AI, digital PR.
It is. I think we still need to be careful, and I will talk about it, that, we all don't want to sound the same. Just a personal request, can we all please try and write things ourselves and don't be afraid to be authentic, and it doesn't have to be perfect. Let's not all start to sound like robots on LinkedIn with the same structure and the way we put our posts up. Let's be genuine, show that brand personality, your individual personality and your essence, just to avoid us from all being same. That said, it's also a wonderful enabler for teams as well, so there are some positives that come with it. Often you can just pop things in and go, please just check this for grammatical errors or pick up a spello, but you really still, there's nothing that will replace the human and that creativity. But yeah, it's
you can
how
tell
we...
when someone's written using AI. I mean, I can tell straight away when your dashes are actually the longer ones. That's a copy and paste from ChatGPT. I'm sorry. Okay,
Rid of the
it
M
is.
dashes.
And I mean, there's an issue with that, and I'll talk about it again in my presentation about SEO is now picking up. If you've fully written websites with AI, it's a no-no. It's going to penalise you. I'll bring up an article anyhow about what someone used an article to promote a tourism place using AI. And anyhow, I'll tell you about that later. But there are a lot of what we've done at Fast Track Digital, and please ask your marketing agency. We use AI nearly every day, but what we've done is that we've actually set up a node, an LLM, for every one of our clients. And every one of our clients have inputted who they are, what their personas are, what their markets are, who their hotels are. And every day we're feeding everything into that LLM for that particular client. We take down scripts of meetings with all our clients, we put them in there, we don't put data in there. So what we've done is that we've actually we've got a node for every one of our clients. So when we ask that particular node about that client or whatever in the node, it actually knows us, so that's how we use it, and it's quite effective. It's like having a marketing team of 5 extra people just working on that client. So ask your agency how they're using AI, and if they've set up the nodes and inputting information into it as well. So Lauren, you've had a lot of global experience, haven't you? You've sort of worked with brands like Marriott, Accor, IHG, Minor. What do high-performing hotels do differently in their marketing mix?
Well, I think this is not a short answer, though.
Oh, that's all right. We've got time. I know the conference, so we've plenty of time.
No, I think, basically I had the pleasure of working with lifestyle brand, mid-scale, luxury and ultra-luxury. So what I would see that between all of these global brands, there are 3 main things in common. So first of all, they don't start with tactics. They start with clear commercial goals, meaning what's your rate strategy, who is your ideal guest, what are you trying to achieve, and what's your brand proposition. Number 2, they do have a very solid book direct strategy. They love to drive the book direct strategy because we know, of course, we always want to pay less commission in OTAs. We know that. And they treat it as actually like a living website, living channels, not just a set and forget kind of thing. And I think the last but not least is they do have a lot of systems in processes and reporting tools, which makes your life easier, especially they also give you consistency from a guest experience point of view, and at the same time they help you have clarity, especially with hard projects like a pre-opening, renovation or conversion.
No, good. I mean, look, Book Direct should be its own little channel. I mean, Fast Track Digital, we sort of started off many years ago about trying to improve people's direct bookings. We've achieved it a lot with people. I mean, hands up in the room, who knows what, everyone's got Book Direct offers. Everyone offers, 10% discount. But does anybody know what is the top offer among our clients that actually works the best to actually get bookings from an OTA to a direct booking? Does anyone know what their top offer is? You might have free parking or free bottle of wine. Does anyone know what their actual their top converting Book Direct offer is? Yep.
Wow.
Free cancellation terms. Yep. Anyone else? All right. He sort of said that. I'll tell you a little bit of intellectual property about all our clients at Fast Track. Free cancellation is actually one of the most powerful ones. You know why? Because the OTAs offer it. Okay, so I'll give you a little bit of a trick. So 10% doesn't work much anymore, but free cancellation works above all those. So make sure you measure it. We've got a lot of small independent hotels here in the room. What should independent hotels copy from the big brands, or what should they ignore?
Well, definitely they should copy the structure, for sure. Like having a clear brand guidelines, understanding who the ideal guest is and what makes them unique, what the lady have already discussed. And what they should not copy 100% is the bureaucracy. So sometimes it takes 6 layers of approval when you wanted to get something approved. So what the independents have, and I love about working with independent clients, is the agility. And you know, you can have more access to innovate, and you can create different things without needing, 6 levels of approval, or, you know, it takes forever.
Yeah, no, cool. All right.
Agree. Well done. 'Cause
Yeah.
especially from getting
No, it's
PR
true.
approval.
And look, we work with some pretty big brands, and we get really pissed off that they have to go through so many layers to get things approved. And I mean, marketing's changing at such a lightning pace. So if you are a big brand, make sure you've got that budget or that authority to be very agile as the market grows. I mean, we always ask all our clients, what's your next week or 2 weeks coming up? Can we just launch a quick campaign for that? And some says, we can't do that. I mean, it's being reactive as well. So, Sarah, let's talk about SEO. Is it evolving or dying? One of my favourite topics.
Yes. I think it's evolving to take on the additional role of being the backbone of geo as well. So SEO, as we know, traditionally was standalone, very much to get you to rank higher in Google search or Bing search. With LLMs, AI, ChatGPT, mentions coming out, and that being sort of a performance measurement metric as well, you need good SEO for AI to even consider mentioning your website. So I think in that sense, SEO, it's still very important in its traditional sense, and also to support geo as well.
Yeah, you can't have a good be visible in AI without good SEO. And I mean, it's something that I will certainly go through. So to Danelle and Ginny, does AI risk-making hotel marketing sound the same?
Yes,
Yeah.
I think it does. And it goes back again to what we've all been saying about creativity, understanding your brand positioning, what messages you want to get out there and what your audience is, because a trap we often see is you don't want to target everyone with your SEO and GEO. You want to target people in your audience who are viable to book at your hotel. So some of the challenges we see, for example, might be maybe like a 3-star hotel using ChatGPT, not checking it through, talking about offering premium luxury services or something like that, creating that disconnect when you get the experience of product and it's completely different to what you've been sold. Not having, I guess, that human touch or element of selling your specific brand, I think is, definitely a challenge.
Ginny and Danelle, how does AI risk-making hotel marketing look all the same? Danelle?
I mean, to Sarah's point, I think you've got to start with the brand strategy. You've got to know what your positioning is, what your point of difference is, and what's that emotional appeal that is going to hook, a potential customer. And I don't think AI is very good at that. And, if you look at, some of the global brands like Apple or Nike, and Apple's positioning in its tagline is "Think Different," which is tapping into an attitude of that customer, right? I don't think that AI is at the point where it can spit out copy or marketing at that level. So I think it's great for helping to execute and accelerate marketing, but you need to have that initial brand thinking, and that core idea needs to come from the strategy first and foremost.
Ginny?
I think as well. Sorry.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Going back to basics, we need to remember as well, AI is generative AI, which takes its information from what's on the web. So, of course, it's not going to sound unique or anything, which is where you need that sort of thinking.
Ginny, in terms of AI, writing PR releases using AI. Yes, no, maybe.
To a degree, I've experimented a little bit. What I found in the beginning is I was using it as an intern, and the quality of the work I was getting back was a really, really bad intern. So I'd sort of like scrunch it up and have to throw it away and be like, I'll just do this. It's quicker and better to do it myself. But things have evolved, and you learned how to plug in more efficiently and effectively, and put in all the prompts, etc. But I still feel like my best press releases have been written without AI, but certainly using it as an editor. Or can you just have a quick proofread of this to check for the grammatical errors, any sort of spellos or anything like that. It's great to have that second set of eyes on a press release. But when you've done it for so many years, you just have that skill to be
Yeah.
able to do it. And yeah, it's an interesting one.
Yeah, I know, and it's experimenting with it. I mean, we've experimented with it. As I said, at Fast Track, we're using AI in different ways, but we have set up nodes for each one of our clients. So it's, as I said, it's like a little team working on all areas of the marketing because we've programmed that LLM for the client. We keep feeding information into it every day with that. So, Lorian, how do you think AI will favour global brands, and how should independents respond? Because I mean, these big huge companies have got so much money to sort of start doing, and already start seeing this with some of the big companies out there making their website AI discoverable, which I will go through in my presentation. But how do you think independents should respond?
Yeah, fully agree. I think that, well, in my opinion, AI will not be in favor only just of the brands that they have deeper pockets. It actually gonna favor those hotels that they have solid structure, because I keep seeing so many hotels that they don't even know the basics, right? The website looks like it was built on 1980, right?
I see that all the time.
So, yeah. And I think that for independent hotels, my recommendation is first to start understanding, do you have a clear, solid positioning? Then the second question you should ask yourself is like, are you clear on your book direct strategy and what makes you unique? Especially in the Maldives, we really think on what would be the cut through, not just, parking or those kind of things that everyone has it. And I think the last point would be as well, thinking in terms of like how you can embrace it and don't be scared of it, because otherwise if you don't have a solid structure, AI will just only amplify the mess.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. We're running out of time, so question to everyone: what percentage of revenue should a New Zealand hotel realistically invest in marketing? I mean, we get this question all the time, but I'll put it to the panel.
I don't think the question should be what percentage of revenue is your
Yep.
marketing spend. It should be at what point does your marketing dollar stop becoming profitable.
Yep.
So marketing is an investment, and if you're seeing ROI on that investment, then you should continue to scale it. You shouldn't stop because you've reached some arbitrary number that was a percentage of revenue. As long as it's producing ROI, keep spending.
Sarah?
Yeah, I completely agree. Particularly with paid media, your ROAS, return on ad spend. If you're getting a good ROAS, often, if you have the budget, what you'd do is put more money in to see if you can go higher, get a better ROAS on it. So it's sort of a bit of a cycle that you can keep increasing it. As soon as it hits a bit lower, maybe take a bit of money out. I think it should be quite, flexible and open to, a bit agile, open to change if needed.
Yeah.
I guess from a PR perspective, I'd be suggesting around 10% of the marketing budget, but making sure you actually have an allocation for PR and also paid media alongside that. Yeah.
From my opinion, I think it also depends on the kind of process that the hotel is going. It's not the same when you're opening a hotel or when you're converting a hotel, when you need to invest on branding for the first time. Definitely needs to be higher versus like an up and running hotel.
Yeah, and I think from my perspective, I mean, we work with some brands or even small hotels. They look, just start with $500 a week on Google Ads if you want, or Meta, and see what happens. And if it works, put another 500. To me, my dad used to say, if you get $1, you give me 10, give me another $1. Okay, so it's all about that. And we see so many brands and so many hotels, their Google Analytics, they don't know what they're spending on it, and their e-commerce tracking. We actually do a test booking nearly every 2 months, or every month, across all the channels for our clients to make sure that the data is getting put in the right buckets. Does it come from SEO, EDMs, Meta, and everything like that? So make sure you check your e-commerce tracking. It's very important. So to me, start off with a small budget and then keep working from there. But one thing I see, and I'll finish with this: your website. Everything is starting on your website now, and AI is so important because they're all going to come to your website. And I see so many businesses in New Zealand and in Australia, their website sucks. I can't find their book now button, their mobile experience is bad, so they're just going to go to an OTA. So please, please, please invest in a website every 2 years. Get it updated, because as I said, we all change our phones nearly every 2 years. We get updates, and I see some people have got their websites for the last 7 years and they wonder why they're not getting bookings. So please invest in it. So please thank my panel on marketing. Thank you very much. Thank you.